A group of German doctors has arrived at a hospital in a Serbian city to help treat a Russian opposition politician Alexei Navalny. Cinema for Peace Foundation, based in Berlin, specialises in treating coma patients. Navalny's allies want the German doctors to fly Navalny back to Germany to be treated there, but Russian doctors say his condition is too unstable for him to be transported. Navalny has been diagnosed with a metabolic disease caused by low blood sugar. Traces of industrial chemical substances had been found on the 44-year-old's clothes and fingers. Navalny, a fierce critic of President Vladimir Putin, is in a serious condition after drinking tea on a Thursday morning that his allies believe was laced with poison. Let's go live to Moscow now. SABC correspondent Dan Ashby joins me live. Very good evening to you, Dan. Thanks indeed for your time. Let's start here. What more can you tell me about the condition of Alexei Navalny this evening?
Well, as you say, in the past couple of hours, they have discovered some sort of industrial component, like a plastic within him. But they say that that's not toxic. And throughout today, doctors have been adamant that he wasn't intentionally poisoned, or indeed he wasn't poisoned at all. They said they found no poison within his blood or his urine. That is in stark contrast to what his team are saying. They say he had this cup of tea on the aeroplane. We've seen videos of him screaming and then, of course, being rushed to hospital, ending up in a coma and fighting for his life. And remember, this is one of President Putin's fiercest critics. He has millions of people following him on YouTube. He constantly outs people over corruption, and there have been several attempts on his life before. So his team are very sceptical that he wasn't poisoned.
Dan, Navalny's supporters, as you say, insist that he was poisoned for his political activities. Doctors now saying that there's no traces of a poison found in his body. What was the exact response from his spokeswoman?
Well, they think that there's some sort of cover-up going on because, as you said earlier, the German medical team arrived. It looked as if Russia was going to help facilitate Navalny's removal to Germany to give him better treatment. Then all of a sudden there was this U-turn, his team says, that they came in, the doctors didn't want to let him evacuate to Germany, and Navalny's team say that's because the Kremlin gave an order and the Kremlin does not want the world to find out what happened to Alexei Navalny. Now, of course, that's not what the doctors are saying. They're saying it's because of health reasons. He's just in too much danger to take this huge flight. But there is a lot of concern about his condition and a lot of skepticism about what the doctors are saying and what the Kremlin is saying. His team think this is a cover-up and that he was targeted.
In fact, the European Union has called for him to be transported to Germany to receive treatment and for there to be an investigation. What has been the response on the ground to that, apart from doctors saying he's in no condition to go to Germany?
Well, the Kremlin is playing this very carefully. You've had President Putin's spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, saying, we will consider helping, trying to get an application through to get him to Germany, but ultimately it comes down to the doctors. And then suddenly a bit more of a turn today when they said, look, the doctors are saying he wasn't poisoned, but we haven't found any poison, at least at the moment, but we're still investigating. So the Kremlin is very aware that this is a sensitive situation because, of course, if a leading opposition figure dies, or he's fighting for his life tonight, just 5 years after, remember, Boris Nemtsov was assassinated. The leading opposition figure of the time was killed just outside the Kremlin. It looks very, very bad for Russia, bad for Russian democracy. So the Kremlin's sensitive tonight, but of course Alexei Navalny's condition hasn't improved as yet.
He has, of course, been a thorn in the side of the Kremlin, as you indicated, calling out corruption, for example. Has the Kremlin said anything in response to the latest information that we're getting from doctors on his condition?
The Kremlin has simply said that they will follow doctors' advice and they want the doctors in Siberia to lead this. But the general policy towards Alexei Navalny is to try to ignore him and play him down. I mean, take Kremlin-backed TV channels, for instance. They don't even mention his name when he raises stories, when he runs campaigns, when he outs corruption, because there is this sensitivity that if they cover his stories, they might give him a bigger platform. So he has been a thorn in the side of President Vladimir Putin. He has managed to raise raised protests of tens of thousands of people, even overturning local elections, getting more independent candidates into power. But he has been arrested before over trumped up charges, he says. He has been attacked before, even poisoned before. So he's a man whose life is constantly under threat.
And you'll keep a track for us on that particular story. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening, SABC correspondent in Moscow, Dan Ashby.